All right, so we are back to strings, and in this video we're going to talk about some functions that relate to strings that you might find useful in your development in Kotlin. Now, these functions are useful, but I think another purpose of this video is also to familiarize yourself with how we can work with strings, how we can manipulate strings, and what kind of give you a feel of what the outcome of some of these operations might be. All right, so let's look at the first function that we can apply to a string. It's not really a function, it's more of a parameter of a string, and that is the length of our string. So we have here an example. I've created a variable, or value rather, my pet, that has the value crocodile. And then I'm trying to get my pet.length, and that is going to give me the value 9. So let's try this in code. I have here a value my pet equals crocodile, and then I'm going to print line the my pet.length. Okay, so let's try that out. By the way, I have created a new file here, but you can use your old file, it doesn't really matter. There we have the value 9. So it gets the length of our string and it just print lines that value. All right, next up we have capitalize. Okay, so here the difference is that we need the parentheses. The reason is that this is a function, this is a property of a string. Okay, so any string has this property, but we are trying to apply the capitalize function to our value here. Okay, so let's try this in code. So we have my name is Michelle and my name.capitalize. We should get the same string, but with a capital letter at the beginning. So here we have val my name equals whatever you want to put here, Michelle, and then we're going to have a print line that is my name.capitalize. All right, so running that, let's see what we get. We should get Michelle with a capital M. All right, the opposite of that is decapitalize, and of course it's the same thing. So we have, for instance, my animal giraffe with a G, capital G, and if we decapitalize that, we should get a lowercase letter there. So val my animal equals giraffe. Okay, and then I'm going to have print line my animal dot decapitalize, and let's run this program, and here we should get giraffe with a lowercase g. All right, that looks good. Now we have another function called trim. Okay, disregard this pop-up from my slides, but we have the function trim. Trim basically means that the system removes, or the function removes, any spaces at the beginning and at the end of our text. Okay, so here we have some text with some spaces at the beginning and at the end, and trim will simply remove those. So let's try that in code. All right, I have typed the text here. I have some beginner spaces, some end spaces, and importantly, I have some spaces in the middle of the text just to see what happens with those. So if I run that, I'm going to have the text here are too many spaces. This should probably be there. But we can see that the spaces at the beginning and at the end were removed, but the spaces in the middle were left as they were previously. Okay, so that is quite an important distinction. The trim function doesn't remove the spaces in the middle, just at the beginning and at the end. All right, so we have those. Now we have a few more that are quite useful. I'm going to give some examples here. So for instance, using the variable or value that we created earlier, crocodile, we can get the character of our string at the position 3. Now, you might wonder why the result is C, because C is the fourth character, right? But we're not getting the third character. We're getting the character at position 3. And the string starts with position 0. So this is position 0, this is position 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Okay, in all software development, everything starts at 0. We will discuss this in greater detail when we reach collections and arrays and maps and sets and so on. But just know that if we try to get a character from a string, the first character is at position 0. So keep that in mind. Positions always start at 0. So let's try that out in code. We have my pet, or rather print line my pet dot get position 3. And if we run that, we should get a C. All right, excellent. Now there's another way to get the position is with these square brackets. Okay, this is related to collections again, and we will discuss this in greater detail when we reach that section, but just know that you can also get the position of a string with the square brackets. Okay, so let's try that out. I'm just going to go here and I'm going to say print line my pet square brackets 3, and that should give me the same result, which is a C. Okay, excellent. So we have those two. Next up, we want to get a part of a string, so what we call a substring. And again, substring indicates the position where the substring starts. Okay, so position 3, which means the substring will start at C, and we will get the result codile, whatever that means. So let's try that out in code. Print line my pet dot substring, and we start at position 3. Let's run that. We should get a codile here. And finally, one more I want to talk about is also substring, but we can pass 2 arguments, the first position and the last position, non-inclusive. Okay, so we have position 3, 4, and 5, but not 6. Okay, we are stopping before 6. So let's try that out. We are here. We're going to say print line my pet dot substring 3 and 6. And if we run that, we should get cod. Okay, so position, where are we? 3, 4, and 5, but not 6. This is not included. So that's it for the functions. These are just some of the functions that can be applied to strings. You can explore more of these functions on your own. There's a lot of documentation online, but I just wanted to give you here some information to kind of get you started and give you a feeling of how you would apply a function to a string to get a result.